Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Two slobber knockers, Rutgers, Maryland, Michigan, Penn State. And we're gonna follow a little bit of a formula here, fellas, and it'll sound like this.
John. But you got to tune in because I'm covering those games in studio for Peacock. So everybody needs to be dialed into those. Okay, dial into those two games. Me, Josh Pastner, Jordan Cornette, Ahmed Fareed will be covering those two games. Come on, the rock fight of Rutgers, Maryland. Dial in the two worst offensive teams in the league. Let's go.
Love it. We have multiple Peacock panelists on the Field of 68 roster. That's big time. All right, let's start with the favorites. Matt, you'll get the first one. Purdue. Can anybody take down Purdue?
Can anyone take them down? No. Do I think that Illinois can push them? Yes. I really believe that. I think they're the only one in this league that can give them a run for their money. When Illinois is playing at a high clip, and Damask and Terrence Shannon are clicking on all cylinders and making shots from the perimeter, I think they're the one team that can push them. But I don't see it. Now the bigger question is Purdue, do they show up? Do they stay focused? Are they locked in on this tournament like they were last year after they won the regular season and not focused on the first round of the NCAA tournament? I don't think there's any reason to think that they won't be because of their mentality all season long. So I think this is Purdue's tournament to win. Obviously, they're the number one seed. Does Michigan State knock off Minnesota, on March 14th? Give them a run in the quarterfinals, possibly, but I just don't see it. I don't see anybody in this league beating them.
Tyler, you have been just vocal in your bubbly love for Illinois all season long. So, I mean, you must be warm and fuzzy about their chances this week when it comes to taking down Purdue, right?
Well, I don't think they're going to get to Purdue because I think Michigan State's going to beat them. I think Michigan State's going to beat Minnesota, and then I think they're going to go on and beat Purdue. They've only played Purdue once. They played Purdue at Purdue and lost by 6 points. I think Michigan State has a lot to prove. They don't have a lot of quad one wins. I think they're 3-8, and they have no quad one wins on the road. And I think Izzo's going to have his team prepared. I don't think this team's going to let Izzo miss his 25-year tournament streak. So I think Michigan State's going to come. I think they're going to make some noise in the Big Ten tournament. So that's kind of my sleeper. So I've got Purdue losing their first game, actually.
How about that? I mean, Tyler's got nothing but chaos in the Big Ten tournament. Matt McCall.
Crazy. I mean, even if Michigan State loses that game, they're still in. Even if they lose on the 14th, they're still in. There's no way Tom Izzo misses his 26th straight NCAA tournament. Michigan State's in. They're not even on the bubble.
Let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all.
Dave, can we get the bracket up again real quick? Because, Matt, I'm going to follow up, and I'm going to ask you, when you look at this, obviously we've talked about Purdue, we've talked about Illinois. When you look at sort of the rest of this field, who's the team there between seeds 4 and 10 that you think could, maybe find their way in the title game and steal this thing?
I mean, you gotta throw Northwestern in the mix, just because of what Boo Buie has done, and they seem to pick off almost everybody in this league. But I mean, Iowa has one of the best offenses in the entire conference. That's a dangerous team. If they can beat Ohio State in the first round, then they're going to square off against Illinois, who has another good offense. But, I mean, when you can score points and you can make shots. Look, I was in the Barclays Center today for the Atlantic 10 tournament, and you could tell that first round game, a lot of guys shooting, not a lot of threes going in, the teams that are making layups. But if you can get hot and start making some threes and the other team's not scoring, you can separate yourself. I mean, I think Iowa's a dangerous team just because of their offense. And I'm anxious to see this rock fight tomorrow between Rutgers and Maryland. I really am. Both teams have really struggled on the offensive end of the floor. Both teams are two of the better teams on the defensive end of the floor in the league. And I'm looking at, Maryland and Jameer Young, who you could make a case for is the best guard in the league. They have Julian Reese in the front court. Those guys are outstanding. And can Maryland get past Rutgers tomorrow, who has another good front court in Cliff Oriami, and they've got good players as well. And they've got one of the best recruiting classes in the country coming in. Two better defensive teams in the league facing off tomorrow. But Maryland, I just keep waiting on them to make a push here because I think Jameer Young is that good, and I think Julian Reese can impact the game. But Iowa, for me, because of their offense, and you get in a tournament setting like this, if you can get hot, and Tyler knows this, anything can happen.
Well, at least that's one person that's going to be looking forward to Maryland Rutgers tomorrow in the United States of America. We got one.
You're going to be tuned in. You're going to be locked in.
I am
because you're going to be.
I'm not going just for you though, not for the game. Yeah, just for you and Pastor, not for the damn game itself. Hey, Tyler, you mentioned Michigan State, and I certainly understand when we get to this point in the season why there's a temptation to believe in them. But I mean, if we're just talking about what they've put on tape this season, like when you watch them, what is it about them that gives you any kind of belief that they could pull off a run like that?
Well, before the season, they're a top 5 preseason team. Also, A.J. Hogard and Tyson Walker, they can fill it up and they can get it going. Like we just said, anybody can get hot and kind of light it up. And also, I do believe in Izzo, and I think he has the ability to coach teams in pressure situations and prepare a team for tournament games, which is an art, and not every coach has that ability. So based off of that record, I would conclude that that's why I feel confident. But also, they haven't met the expectations that were placed on them this year. I think it's been a disappointing year for them, and I think they have the ability to improve and kind of rewrite that story right now in the Big Ten tournament. Then anything can happen. So that's why I believe.
And then last one here on the Big Ten before we move to the Big East, fellas. Matt, obviously Michigan State's metrics are, it feels like, for these convoluted reasons beyond my comprehension, good enough to get them in regardless of what happens in this thing. But Iowa, it feels like, is definitely on that cut line. So who has the most to lose with a rough performance in the Big Ten tournament this week?
John, I'd like to go the other way. Who has the most to gain? Because I'm more
everybody.
Everybody. No. But think about this. Like, Wisconsin is leaking oil. They are leaking oil. They have won 3 out of their last 11. Am I right about that? Like, they're leaking oil. They are like in Days of Thunder when, Cole Trickle's guy goes up there before the Daytona 500 and the car is leaking oil and he's got to go race that car, and he's all upset as he's giving the talk to the car about, this is not the answer I'm looking for. Wisconsin's leaking oil. They've won 3 out of their last 11. And this is a team that not too long ago was ranked 6th in the country. So I think they have the most to gain. And every team that I've been a part of that had success in the NCAA tournament had success in the conference tournament, built momentum. When I was at the University of Florida, if we had success in the conference tournament, we won games in the NCAA tournament. If we got knocked out early in the conference tournament, we didn't have success in the NCAA tournament. So I'm looking at Wisconsin right now, And I'm saying, look, not too long ago, you're the 6th-ranked team in the country. Go into this tournament and build yourself some momentum. I'm not saying they're going to do it or not, but I think they have the most to gain because at one point they were ranked in the top 10. Who has the most to lose? I mean, you could say Iowa, but we weren't even considering them in the field a few weeks ago until on Peacock, I said that they should be in the field and watch out because they had quad one opportunities. Just giving myself a little plug there. But I think Wisconsin has the most to gain, and you could also say they have the most to lose because if they don't build some momentum through this tournament, they're going to get knocked out in the first round.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.